Hi, welcome to the latest edition of Phoenix Children's Live. I'm your host, Riley O'Brien. I'm a brand manager here at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Joining me today is Candace Johnson. She is a registered pediatric nutritionist and dietitian here at Phoenix Children's Hospital in our endocrinology department. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Just a few reminders. We are live. If you'd like to leave a question, go ahead and type that in the comment box below the feed. We'll try to get to those during the broadcast. If we can't, we'll get back to you as soon as we can afterwards. Go ahead, throw us a like, throw us a love, let us know that you're out there and that you're watching. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So just a little bit about you, Candace. Can you tell us more about your role here at Phoenix Children's Hospital and how long you've worked here?
Yes, so I am a registered dietitian at Phoenix Children's. I work in the endocrinology department. I work specifically in our care program, so that's for kids who are obese, who are pre-diabetic, who maybe have labs that are at risk for heart disease and things like that. We teach them about nutrition, lifestyle, all that great stuff to kind of get that ball rolling so they can have a healthier life.
Wonderful. So how do you become a registered dietitian? What does that look like?
Yeah, so you have to have a 4-year college degree, usually in dietetics. So I received mine from ASU, actually. After that, you have to do an internship. Some of them can be about a year long or year and a half. Mine was 6 months. It was kind of a fast track one.
Mm-hmm.
But in there, you do a lot of rotations. So things through like community, hospital, school nutrition, you kind of get your feel and shadowing, per se, I guess you would say. Then after that, you sit for a test, and once you pass it, you're licensed as a registered dietitian.
Wonderful. How long have you worked here at Phoenix Children's Hospital?
So this month actually is my 3-year anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been fun. So yeah, 3 years. I'm kind of in that middle ground of new to old, I guess, in here.
Well, we're glad to have you. So today we're going to talk about nutrition, something you talk about daily.
Yes.
And just a little bit about what families can do at home to really help their child make good, healthy choices. One of the questions you shared with me was, what should my child be drinking? What are healthy choices for children when it comes to drinks? Can you share some of those recommendations with us?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. So especially in the heat, you want to drink and be, satisfied and flavor. So actually the best thing for a kid to drink is water. And a lot of my patients say, oh, well, that's boring. I want something with flavor. But it keeps you hydrated. It keeps you, just feeling better. All those other drinks that we might see at gas stations and fast food places have a lot of sugar in them. And that's what we really want to avoid.
Okay. So what about for flavor options? What are some of, parents that obviously soda is not a good choice.
Yeah.
So for that child that really wants flavor in their, maybe their water or another, beverage, what's a good recommendation for that?
Yeah, so we often recommend flavoring your own water with fruits and vegetables or infusing it. So now they have a lot of the cool water bottles where you can put kind of fruits or vegetables in there to infuse it. I learned recently that one family they've been doing is they freeze the fruits, like strawberries and blueberries, and then they let it thaw out for 24 hours, about a day, and they put it in a pitcher of water, and it actually changes the color of the water too. So you feel like you're drinking Kool-Aid or something, but it actually has a good flavor. One of my favorite combinations is strawberries, blueberries, and a mint leaf, and it kind of gives you that cool feeling and cool flavor.
That sounds delicious. I'm going to try that. So what about juice? Is juice a healthy option for children?
Great question. So we get that one a lot too. So actually, juice has a lot of sugar in it. So if you guys can kind of see this vial, this is as much sugar as is in a juice. So there's about 23 grams of sugar, which can also be the same amount that's in a soda or a sports drink. So sometimes we think juice is great because, it has fruit in it, but actually there's no fiber in there, there's no nutritional value in it, and there's a lot of added sugar. Even when those labels say, 100% sugar or 100% juice or natural or organic, those are all those marketing labels that kind of throw you off. So it's not a great decision, so we would prefer you to kind of flavor it with the natural fruits and veggies on your own.
Definitely. I noticed you have a few of these vials. Can you kind of maybe walk us through what these are?
Yeah, so this one again is the juice, so it just kind of shows us the sugar amount that would be in 1 8-ounce cup of juice. So that's about this big, and typically we're drinking a lot more than 8 ounces, so a lot of people's cups at home are about 12 to 16 ounces. So you can see that's almost, you're doubling, tripling that juice amount, or that sugar amount. So that would be juice. This one right here is a Mountain Dew. So a lot of times we get some families who feel, oh, well, if they're drinking a lighter soda, that might not have as much sugar in it. So the dark sodas and the light sodas have just as much sugar. So it's a lot of sugar in there that we're ingesting. So if you think about if a kid had, a cup of juice and a sugar, or in a soda and a sugar, and a soda, they're already having a lot of sugar in their diet just from drinking. This other one is our sweet tea. So sometimes we get the Arizona sweet teas or just the ice sweet teas, and these tend to have a lot of sugar in them as well. And these are sports drinks. So a lot of times we think, or we'll have families say, okay, I'm doing really good. We're not drinking soda. We're not drinking juice. We switched over to sports drinks. And you're like, oh, I know,
look at that. They're pretty comparable.
Close. Wow. Yeah. So I'm always happy when families are like, oh, we've made a change because at least you're taking that step. But we have to educate that the sports drinks are a ton of sugar as well. And they're really made for people who are very, very athletic, who are running marathons or playing football games at a collegiate or a professional level. They're really not even for our little 6-year-olds who are doing t-ball or our 12-year-olds like playing soccer. Yeah, we want them to be, but still a lot of sugar that's not needed.
Definitely. So I know another question that you had kind of shared with me that you get a lot is snacks.
Yeah.
So, what is a healthy snack? What are some options for families to give their child that would still be in that healthy category?
Yeah, so obviously one great one's fruits and vegetables. They're always easy, and I think sometimes we think, oh, well, it needs to be packaged because that's fast, and peeling a banana is just as fast as, opening that bag of chips. So fruits and vegetables are great. I always say make it fun, dip it in something. So dip it in peanut butter.
I love that.
Put some cream cheese or cottage cheese on top or something like that. I'm honestly even okay with a little bit of ranch on your carrot sticks. That's going to make it a little bit more fun than just eating carrots. Another great snack is like string cheeses, things like that, yogurt, a bag of nuts, trail mix, as long as we're trying to stay away from the ones that are all candy and sugar filled. But those are all great options of snacks that we can do.
So when, let's say we go the packaged snack route, and so we're in that grocery store, how do parents, when they're reading the labels, how do they know what's healthy or not when they're looking? Because like you mentioned before, there are a lot of marketing labels saying this is, fat-free or 100% natural. How do we really tell what would be good to give a child?
Yeah, so label reading is a big one. It's kind of, it kind of depends on what you're looking at, because sometimes you will find things that might have a little higher sugar, but it's still relatively healthy. So I always try to say, pick something that has a lot of fiber in it. So fiber is going to keep you full. So about 3 grams of more fiber is good. Pick something that's lower in sugar. So if it's like a bar, it should really have about probably 4 grams or less of that sugar content in there. Try to pick something that's just more in its whole form. So like a cheese stick that's kind of cheese, rather than trying to pick like a cheese that's like the little string cheese that you kind of spray on, things like that. Things that are nut based are good if your child obviously can eat nuts and aren't allergic to them, things like that. So those packaged items tend to be a little better than your chips or cookies, candy, things like that.
Definitely. So I know that the holidays are coming up, so we tend to, indulge in all those fun treats.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that this is probably something that comes up. How do you balance for families those fun treats, holidays? The one I can think of right now, obviously Halloween is coming up, but then also making sure that a child has enough healthy snacks. What's kind of that balance?
Yeah, so I always mention don't deprive your kid. Don't tell them never in your life are you going to have a cookie, because I don't even think adults could do that. I couldn't do that. My thing's brownies. So I say, okay, let's teach our kids what sometimes foods are and all the time foods are. So our sometimes foods are those maybe higher sugar things that we know aren't that healthy. So your cookies, your candy, your ice cream. Then those all the time foods are our fruits, our vegetables, our lean meats, things like that. So we can tell kids, okay, when we have our Halloween party or when we have a birthday party, we're going to have a sometimes food. We're going to have a piece of cake, and it's going to be okay. We're going to have a smaller portion of it. Maybe we're not going to eat, a big
maybe not the whole cake.
Whole cake, yeah, but we're going to have a moderate size of it. And then the rest of our week or the rest of our month, we're going to try to stick to those everyday whole foods that are good for us. And then on, mom's birthday, we might have another piece of cake or a brownie. So we kind of teach kids how sometimes food, all the time food, rather than saying, we're going to deprive ourselves, we're going to have a cheat day, or we're never going to eat that in our life. It's very hard to do that.
I love that terminology. I think that's really great. It definitely illustrates it really well.
Yeah.
So how many snacks a day is normal for a child? So we know that, you have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but how many snacks a day is normal or healthy to be giving a child?
Yeah, so it's going to kind of range depending on your kid's age. So our little kids who are probably preschool age, they might snack a little more. They're growing, they're developing. Our adolescent school age kids, they might only need one snack a day. So instead of asking how many do they need, I like to teach people to eat to their hunger cues. So if you're really feeling hungry, if we can kind of say, okay, my stomach's rumbling. I really, but I did eat breakfast maybe 3 hours ago, and I know lunch is going to happen in 2 hours, but I am feeling hungry. Totally appropriate to have a snack and eat. So that would be when we say, okay, let me think back to my everyday foods, my everyday snacks. So nuts, okay, that's a good everyday snack, or string cheese or fruit kind of thing. So one snack a day probably be relevant, but again, if we're super active, we're out playing, a tournament of basketball.
Right, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah, your kid might need a little bit more of a snack, just trying to make it that everyday snack. So eat to your hunger cues.
Yeah, kind of listening to your body and seeing when you're hungry. It looks like, I think we might have a question. So just kind of looking back at this, I saw that you had portion sizes. So can you explain to our viewers a little bit about portion sizes and kind of how you explain that to families that come and visit you?
Yeah, so in our clinic, portion sizes are huge. So again, we're never on that deprivation mode where you can never have X or, you know. So we teach them portion sizes. So one thing we really hit hard, and this is just for everyone, is we want lots of fruits. Yeah, you can hold it.
Can help hold it up so we can see it at home.
Yeah. We really want a lot of fruits and vegetables. So we always want half of our plate to be those fresh fruits and vegetables. I tell families you can cook these however you want as long as we're not frying them. So we can bake them, we can have them raw, we can steam them, we can chop them up, we can eat them whole.
That's a lot of options.
Yeah, make them fun, however you guys like them. So then after that, we want some type of protein. So this protein is going to, help us stay fuller. It's going to support, muscle growth and teeth and all that kind of stuff. It can be things like chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, tofu, all those kind of options that we have. We want about a quarter of our plate, or if you, obviously, kids will eat a little smaller than adults, so we say a palm size.
Oh,
so
palm size.
Dad's palm size might be a little bigger than, little brother's palm size.
Yeah, there might be a size variation there.
So Dad won't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not eating anything. So he can use his palm, and you can use the kid's palm, and mom's or aunt, uncle, whatever is in whoever is in the house.
Guide that.
So, and then our carbohydrates or our grains are also important, but we do want to limit them to just this quarter of a section. So things like rice, potatoes, pastas, tortillas, bread, cereals. We want to have those just a quarter. They're important, but they do lead to health risks if we overconsume them. So we teach about how to make those that corner of the plate, or about a palm size, or fist size of your plate should be those types of foods. We teach you about whole grains rather than the white grains, how they have more fiber in them. They're going to keep you fuller. So this is a really good diagram for each meal should be portioned like that. About 3 meals a day should be fine.
Well, this graphic is wonderful. It's incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And I noticed there is a backside to this graphic, which you guys probably can't see at home. Do you want to explain a little bit on this graphic too? Hopefully.
So these are just healthy habits that we like to teach all kids who are dealing with obesity, and kids who aren't. It's just healthy habits in general. So 9 hours of sleep at night is really good. The more we sleep, the more refreshed we feel. The more our hormones are balanced. We kind of don't have those cravings sometimes for those unhealthier foods if we are very well. We sleep very well through the night. So 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. So again, that can look like a whole piece of a whole apple. That can look like chopped up carrots, steamed carrots, however you want to do them. But we really want 5 servings. So sometimes families get a little scared, like 5 servings. Does that mean I have to eat 5 broccoli heads? And no. So remember, a serving of vegetables is about half a cup to a cup. So it's relatively small. But the more the better as well. So other thing is 2 hours of screen time or less. So that includes phone, TV, computer, iPad,
all that new technology.
all that new stuff. I know. I'm like, what is it all? So some kids, yes, they have to do their homework, right, on computer, which I don't want to say kids have the option now to, I don't have to do homework, Mom, because they said 2 hours.
Right, you're like, you still need to do your homework, kids out there.
Still do your homework. But after that 2 hours, let's have a break. Let's go be active. The more active we are, the better. So that leads into our recommendation of an hour of activity or more. So a lot of times we get parents saying, do I need to throw my kid on a treadmill? Or,
oh, goodness.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, oh, adults don't even like that, right? So we can go play soccer, go ride a bike, go play tag, and always do it as a family. It's a lot more fun when the whole family's active.
Definitely.
Rather than and it's easier for the parents too, I think, rather than you having to be like, go be active, and the kids saying,
well, then everybody gets to be active.
Yeah.
Kind of a win-win there,
yeah,
right?
so Mom, be active with me, and it's like you can do whatever you guys like. The next one is zero sugary drinks. So as we kind of talked about earlier, the juices, the sodas, the Gatorades, all that kind of stuff, really try to limit that and just drink plain water. I always say get your flavor from your food. So spice that up, and your water is just to hydrate you and keep you going. Don't try to get flavor from that.
So I'm curious, I'm looking back at this, and it says physical activity. So Arizona is hot, and thank goodness it's starting to cool down.
Yay!
But what do our kids do when it's so hot outside? What are their options for physical activity?
So we have a lot of, I actually ask kids sometimes, like, what do you do inside? And I get a lot of
insider information.
Yeah, and I'm like, what would you like to do?
that.
Because I'm not a kid anymore. We have a lot of, especially our girls and boys too, who like to dance. So I'm like, hey, throw on a YouTube video, throw on a dance CD, or just throw on some music and dance around the house. That counts. Get sweaty, and again, whole family can dance and
have a good time.
Yeah, and it can be any types of dance that you like. It's all fun. Another one is some kids are really into workout videos, which you would think not.
But there's probably a lot out there.
There's a lot out there. There's actually kid-friendly ones. If you just kind of go on YouTube or Google and put in, fun kid workout videos, and you'll actually have kids leading the workout, and it's super fun.
That is really neat.
Yeah, and I actually like doing them too sometimes because they're more fun than the adult ones sometimes. Other things we can do is chores, which some kids don't like to do, but it's activity.
But parents out there probably really like that last one.
Yes, I've given you permission to give your kids chores. So mopping, sweeping, things like that. Playing hide and go seek in the house. If there's stairs, you can always do the stairs a couple times. Doing body weight exercises inside is always a good thing. And if you want to take it outdoors, go to the mall and just window shop or something like that. Walking around the grocery store. As long as we're moving in some way, it all counts.
That was a lot of options. A lot of options I don't think I've thought about living here in Arizona for the summer. So that gave me some ideas too. It looks like we have a question. So it says, what should you eat if you have colitis?
So yeah, that's going to be really tailored to the specific patient. So I deal more more with the obesity side. So that would probably be a question for a dietitian who's more with GI. But it would depend on the fiber intake and things like that. I would ask your PCP kind of what route to go with that, because that's very patient specific. Some kids can eat certain things that won't bother them, and others it will bother them.
Right, so could vary from person to person. So I think kind of what you were saying was maybe go see your primary care physician and get some recommendations there, and then you said you would probably see maybe another you.
Yes, another me
in a different department who kind of specializes in that. So definitely great question.
Yeah, good question though.
It looks like we have one more. Says, my kid gets a rash when they eat certain fruits and veggies. Should they not eat them at all, or can they have them in small amounts? Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, so another great question. So it's kind of patient tailored as well. So I would probably, again, ask your primary care doctor, and then also kind of see a dietitian that's more tailored in the allergy department. Because some kids if they'll see that, their rash is, it's very minimal, or it's not affecting them in any way, so they can continue to eat that. But you want to make sure also that nothing's going on the inside that we can't see. So sometimes a rash can show, okay, maybe there is an allergy, but there's something more going on inside. So that would be something to bring to your doctor's attention. Yeah. But good question. Kind of depends. We do want them to eat them, but not if they're harming them at all.
Right, you always want to make sure that's a good balance and a healthy balance. Yeah. So that was a great question. Thank you so much. And then there's one more thing we wanted to kind of talk about here. So kids have gone back to school,
Yes.
Packing lunches. So something you kind of shared with me are questions that you get about recommendations about packing lunch.
Yeah.
It just seems, I don't know, just like a bigger task. What do
Yeah.
I pack for lunch? I want them to enjoy it, but I also want it to be healthy, and then probably time-wise too. Parents and families are busy.
Yes.
So what kind of recommendations do you make around
Yeah,
that?
so I always say first make it fun. Don't, if your kid doesn't really have a taste for broccoli, don't shove a bunch of broccoli in their lunchbox because it's going to come back and you're going to be like, I wasted money.
Yeah, you'll see it at the end of the day.
Yeah. So following the plate method again. So having
Need a beer.
Yeah.
Here.
Other
other
side.
side.
That's fine. So have a fruit or vegetable, and this can be a conversation you have with your kid. You're guiding as a parent. So remember, you're guiding the health train, but your kid can also be a part of it and help pick. So you say, okay, hey, so-and-so, and I'll use Timmy, if that's your kid's name. We want to have a fruit or vegetable in your lunchbox. Which one would you like? And so they get to pick it. It's more likely they're going to eat it. So maybe Timmy says, oh, I would like an orange. All right, cool. We need to have a protein. What protein should we do? Should we do, some beans? Should we have a little bit of cheese? Because cheese does give us some protein. Should we maybe have some deli meat or something like that? And then we need a grain. So what should we do? So some kids will, and I'll do this in clinics, okay, I want you to pack a lunch, have all the things. And they'll say, oh, okay, well, I can maybe do a little bit of whole wheat crackers with some chicken and cheese, and I can bring a big banana to lunch. You're like, perfect. And that's pretty quick and easy. It's kind of like a Lunchable, but you made it your own way, and it's a lot less processed. They packed it, yeah. So it can be leftovers from your dinner before. It could be a big salad with some beans and chicken in it, anything like that, and it can definitely be quick and easy. It doesn't have to be a, Master Chef kitchen lunch kind of thing.
For like packing your own, or for having a child pack their own lunch, is that kind of something when you're having them help choose, is that like a common recommendation that you make, is encouraging parents to say, hey, have them pack their own lunch, obviously with some supervision, but does that seem like a successful tool?
It's a lot more successful. I think it also cuts a lot of maybe the fighting out of it, where it's like, well, I packed this, why didn't you eat it? And they're like, well, I didn't want it. So, and it gives them a little bit of responsibility of their health. Like, hey, this is important. We want you to be healthy, and as parents or grandma or whoever it is in the home, and the kid kind of gets to be like, oh, well, I do want to take ownership over my health. And so also it gives the parent a little less of that stress of, oh, I got to pack, maybe 4 or 5 kids' lunches, and you can have them help out. So yeah,
definitely. That's a good suggestion. So I noticed you have one more prop here. It looks like a plate.
Yes.
Would you kind of explain?
So there's a little bit of water on it. In our clinic, we give these portion plates as well. So again, half your plate fruits or vegetables, a little bit of protein, a little bit of grain. So this is a great tool kids can use at the dinner table or breakfast table. And again, they can be like, all right, I've had kids say, yeah, my mom last night made chicken and rice, and I told her, wait, Mom, we need a vegetable, and it becomes fun. Yeah. So they'll be like, okay, my chicken goes here, my rice goes here, and my mom, oh, we need a vegetable, and they get to pick like, oh, we want broccoli today or asparagus, and they get to have a visual, and they get to, again, be a part of the conversation, a part of the healthy eating. So this is a tool we definitely give them, and they use when they go home.
So for those families that may not come to your clinic, where can they find one of these?
So these obviously are our care program, but they also are, I think I've seen them at Walmart, Target, Dollar Store, things like that.
Oh, wow, so pretty accessible.
Yeah, pretty accessible and cheap, which is nice, right?
Yeah, wonderful addition to it also being helpful, definitely. So we'll put that kind of over there. Remember, you can keep asking questions in the comment box. We love to hear from you guys. So just kind of moving along, is there anything else that you would like to share with viewers about like common questions that you get that you think would be helpful to share with everyone?
Yeah, so I think snacks are a big one like we mentioned, but some families want to make their own snacks, kind of how can I make something that's fun and exciting. So one thing that I recommend is we call them little energy balls, and they're they're a little bit of oatmeal and honey, a little chocolate chip, because you have to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And we just and peanut butter, and we just roll them up in little balls, and they're really good. And so that's a little healthy snack that people can do as well.
Do you have to refrigerate those, or do you how does that happen?
You can, but you do not have to.
Oh, okay, so
No.
either or.
Either or is perfectly fine.
Definitely. Well, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
So I think that's all of our questions for today. So we just wanted to go ahead and thank you for tuning in. And remember to tune into our next Facebook Live. There'll be an announcement here at Phoenix Children's Hospital Facebook page. Thank you so much, Candace. You're
Thanks
a wealth
for
of
having
knowledge.
me.
And I had such a good time. So again, you can share this with your friends. We'll leave it up. And then again, keep liking. Thank you.